When looking to make New York style pizza dough at home, there's a ton of information. Tons of videos, tons of techniques, tons of different dough recipes, and some of them get a little crazy. Yeah, not gonna lie, it's a long time. As a beginner, this can feel kind of daunting, but as somebody that likes pizza and really wants to learn about it, it's great. I love learning more about it. It's not a bad thing. The goal of this video, though, is to give you a good starting point and idea of what you need to do to get a good New York style pizza dough. And we all know what we're looking for. We're looking for a good chew, we're looking for a good texture, and we're looking for a good crunch. For this recipe, this is everything you'll need. You won't need any fancy equipment. I do recommend a scale, however. Let's start with 450 grams of water in the bowl. Into your water, we're putting 25 grams of sugar and your yeast packet. We're gonna let this kind of sit for about 5 minutes. You want the water to be cold, but not super cold. So like 60, 70 degrees is probably good. If it's colder than that, that's fine. Maybe just wait a little bit longer with the sugar and the yeast in the bowl. Give that a little stir. I've made several batches of pizza dough using this method, and they always come out great. I have been making small tweaks here and there just to see how it affects the recipe, but this is a fantastic starting point. So after 5 minutes, you're gonna add all the flours. This includes the bread flour, the 00 flour, and the semolina. So you will see that the recipe calls for Semolina Rimacinata, which is a reground finer version of semolina, but I'm using just the red mill regular semolina. It's a little bit more coarse, but it's gonna work just fine. It's what I've been using this whole time, but I definitely say if you can find the other one, please do. At this point, you're gonna mix it until it's shaggy, until it just comes together. I think I show it pretty well on this video, but you want to just kind of be coming together, not really a dough ball, and then you're just gonna let it sit there for 20 minutes. And yeah, I know it's a lot of waiting, but this is gonna help the gluten start to develop to get that really good end result. So it's definitely worth the 20 minutes just to leave it. After 20 minutes, go ahead and add your salt, 15 grams. And after you add the salt, you're gonna wanna knead that together until it's mostly incorporated, but I would say incorporated once it's a dough ball. As soon as it's a dough ball, you can stop and add your 35 grams of olive oil. Definitely make sure you're using a high quality olive oil. I recommend this Graza brand or any single source olive oil. The Graza brand is what you'll see a lot of YouTubers using these days, and for good reason. It is a single source high quality olive oil. Just keep kneading the dough by hand, or if you're using a mixer, you can go a little bit less time, around 5 or 6 minutes versus 7 or 8. Yeah, my thermometer is like actually scuffed, but I refuse to get rid of it. So you just give it a couple taps and look, the temperature is correct now. So after you're done kneading the dough, you want the temperature to be around 75 to 76 degrees. That's the ideal temperature. Now, of course, you can go a little bit, if it ends up being 78 degrees, it's not the end of the world, but that's the ideal temperature for the yeast to kind of get as active as you want it at this stage. That way during the proofing, when you let it sit for around 1 or 2 hours, you're good to go. As you can see, mine was 73 when I checked it with the thermometer, so I'm going a little bit long. So once you're done kneading, you're going to want to go ahead and let this proof in room temperature for 1 to 2 hours. So you're fine to do 1 hour if you just want to get it into the fridge as soon as possible. If you're looking to use this dough the same day, which you can do, I would definitely let it sit for around 2 hours and then put it in the fridge until you're ready to use, or after 2 hours, just go ahead and use it. You're gonna get a better depth of flavor if you let it go in the fridge for 48 hours to fully develop, but it's definitely usable same day if needed. I've tried this pizza recipe both ways, leaving it for about 48 hours, 24 hours, and same day. And there's definitely small differences, but either which way, overall, it's gonna be delicious. So at this point, it's time to get the dough portioned out. You wanna do this now because when I was a beginner, I found out you definitely can't do it later. So right now I'm portioning out about 3 14-ounce dough balls. Here's a little guide for you to show you, what amount of dough you want for what amount of pizza. Of course, it can be like plus or minus an ounce or two. I want this guide to be accessible to pretty much everyone. So, and honestly, I've been using Ziploc bags for the longest time. I will show you what I'm using at the end of the video that I've upgraded to. But if you have a proofing box, awesome. But if you have Ziploc bags, that works. So here's a different batch that I just grabbed out of the fridge that I put in this container. This is after I think 48 or 72 hours. It gets nice and puffy, nice and light. Before you use this, you'll definitely want to let it sit out for about 30 minutes to an hour. I recommend the full hour if possible. It'll just make it easier to work with. And a general rule of thumb is you can use this dough up to 48 to 72 hours later. I've even gone after that. I've done 96 and it still is fine.
What's up, y'all? It's Future Crust here. I filmed that first part about 3 weeks to a month ago, so I wanted to chime in and give you some updates on additional things that you can do to make this pizza even better with these instructions. First off, we're gonna go back to the semolina flour. I was using the red mill because it's easily accessible, and honestly, you can still use it just fine, like I said in the video. However, I did mention the Semolina Rimacinata. It's an Italian brand. It's double milled, and this is what it looks like. You could probably get other brands as well, but the Caputo brand, probably botching all these pronunciations, but this brand is kind of the goat of Italian flours. This is like the go-to flour that a lot of places use. It's very high quality, premium, and this will give you that better New York pizza experience. The texture of the dough will come out a little bit different. Honestly, I've tried them both and there is a difference, but is it gonna make or break a good dough? And are you gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't use double milled? Like, no, like it's still gonna be fine with the recipe as I explained it. So that's the first tip, is if you can find the double milled semolina, absolutely use this if you can. I'll go ahead and link it down on Amazon as well. The second thing I wanted to bring up was how you store your pizza. Now, I was using Ziploc bags, and you can absolutely still use Ziploc bags. However, it is nice to have it stored in like a circular container. So you can absolutely use a proofing box. I'll put a picture here of what a proofing box looks like. But proofing boxes, just for me living in an apartment, they take up a lot of space in the refrigerator, and I don't have like a huge refrigerator. So what I use is these. They're like silicone. These are like silicone containers, and it gives you 4 of them in the bunch that I purchased, but they're great size. They fit like 14 ounces of dough very easily. You could probably fit even a little bit more, and they can stack obviously, and they seal up real nice. So I decided to go with these, and I'll link these as well down in the description. Just kind of saves space, and if you don't want to have an entire proofing box, you know, in your refrigerator, but absolutely feel free to use a proofing box as well. Or if you're not that serious about it, keep using Ziploc bags, because those also work just fine. And to make this pizza, the last thing I'll say is you'll definitely want a pizza steel. You can get away with a pizza stone, and I'll probably make another video explaining and showing the differences, but definitely a pizza steel for your oven on max temperature is gonna give you the best result. So everything I talked about will be linked in the description. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw down a comment or join the Discord, even better, and we can talk about it. Thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel. I upload shorts almost every single day, and I got some really exciting long form videos planned, so feel free to subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.